And people, in short, here's why we need a trainer coach. Now, if you look at it, for obvious reasons, Arsenal do not have on the face of it there's not one single fragment you watch Arsenal and you take it away from them. Sheffield, they're all about spirit. City, good technically. Liverpool, good technically. Fight from the start to the end. Chelsea, progressive football. You can't say anything about this Arsenal side, and a lot of that is down to the players, but the overriding factor, people, is Unai Emery. It is. You can't say this is a defensive side, despite the fact that he makes pragmatic decisions, because we can't defend and see out Leeds. Yeah, you can say we've got great attacking players, but are they all playing to their potential? You'd probably say even Aubameyang isn't, and that's through no fault of his own. Again, there's no real tactics or emphasis on tactics, especially in away games. You have a striker that scores 20 league goals, that shared the Golden Boot last season. In his last 3 Premier League away games, he's had 3 shots. Fair to say that's 3 different sets of defences that are laughing, really and truly, people. And why wouldn't you, really and truly? For me, a trainer coach is vital because I call it Plan Z. What a contingency plan in the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario in Arsenal's case is that we again miss out on top 4, 45 million gone. Might struggle to attract players. We got Aubameyang and Laka without it, but struggle to attract players and just in general make our life harder. If we do miss out on that, and obviously Ozil isn't a main player like that, but Ozil's 2021, Lacazette the prospect of leaving, Aubameyang the same, and obviously on the face of that, if them three players leave, we need to bring in a creative midfielder anyways, because Ceballos is leaving or someone with that skill set. So you've got to fix that. We're light in midfield anyways, but Xhaka's leaving, so you've got that. You've got however many goals combined Lacazette and Aubameyang is there. So we've either got to promote a young striker, whether that's Tyrese, Eddie and whatnot, to come and help share the burden. If they can do that, that's another thing, people. But at the same time, we probably have to bring somebody else in. And when you look at it, I don't need to tell you the several young players, teenagers to mid-20s in our side. Torreira's been linked with a move away, linked with Milan, as has Xhaka today as well, people. You've got them, you've got Guendouzi, you've even made Lenal's whatever position he is, you've got the young wingers, you've got Saliba and Holding. Tierney's experienced, but my point is he's still young. You've got a young squad dotted around the whole team, and it's about how does this team take shape. First, it starts with the back 5. Leno's linked with Bayern Munich, and he's not the oldest of keepers. That man has made 49 shots. Since he's come here, has he had a competent defence to work forward with? No. So it's about Bellerin, Holding, Saliba, Tierney, a system for them. And none of these players right now are in the main teams for Arsenal, bar the fullbacks. Holding's form doesn't warrant that, and Saliba's yet to play. But if you look at it, you've got Socrates, you've got Luis, you've got players in this side dotted around that are approaching the wrong side of 30. So we need someone that can, to be fair, Unai and the club did do decent business in the summer, but we need someone who could train these young players, someone who in the next 3 to 4 years, every year or every period, we are seeing his team take shape and whatnot. We're not seeing that with Emery, because even if we wanted Aubameyang to stay, why would he stay, people? I know I touched on it earlier, but 3 years, Saka, and it's great for Saka in that, but if we're still in the same situation, it's 3 wasted years for Lacazette and Aubameyang. You've got Socrates to leave as well. I mean, like I've mentioned, on the wrong side of 30. Mustafi is a double asterisk on my paper, people, because he's in a different case scenario in that he's been told to go. But we're going to have to rebuild again, and we have to get this right. Arsenal love to rebuild. We done this rebuild thing with obviously sourcing players from elsewhere. Then we tried to do up homegrown. Then we thought we was away from the financial burdens. I'd say 06 to 012. We went 013, 14 and whatnot, winning FA Cups. Obviously, not Lacazette, Alexis came and Ozil came to go with Santi. We thought, yo, listen, we signed DM, we do this, we do that. We've got a decent team. We've had to and then we've gone to this Arsenal team where it's been stripped, where we're in another project, people, and then we'll face the prospect of another unfinished project. We love unfinished projects, people, but we need to do much better in that regards, in my humble opinion, man, because it's vital, people, because if we go through the same stuff again, it's going to be a madness. Do you get Arteta in and do you surround him with experienced backroom stuff? Maybe that's an issue. But for me, if we don't get top 4, which is probably going to be the case, then we need to go back to basics, people. We need to think, what do we want this team to look at in 3 or 4 years, and we need to find a coach that has a philosophy, that has a proven track record of improving his side or whatever side year in, year out. Because also as well, I'm going a bit off topic, but if you look at it, Martinelli's probably a striker, but he plays as a left winger at times. What specific player do we want to? We need to have a coach where, and I think the club is doing this. Sorry. Okay, we've got Martinelli. Long term, do we want him to take the mantelpiece from Aubameyang? Okay, how do we get him there? Do you get individual specific plans? Matteo Guendouzi, lovely form since he's been at the club and a lovely rise. But what specific midfielder do we want him to be? Box to box, deep lying? If so, we want him to be a man in this team, the man to take this team forward or help in the future and be someone that probably a captain material. You've got to improve him defensively. Do you get it, people? Torreira, what's our specific plans for him? The Joe Willock, the biggest case, because in the last few games he doesn't really know what he should be doing. Do we want him to be box to box, attacking, whatever? Do you get it? Specific plans for the Nelsons, the Emils, Eddies too, because the next 3-4 years are going to be crucial. We can't afford to get this one wrong again, people. It's a madness. It's nothing short of a madness. Moving forward, there's been some transfer news as well that we might as well speak about. It's nothing. It's nothing really, people. But yeah, we might as well just go through it quickly, man. Really quickly. See my Twitter DMs that I DM myself. But our old our old player, linked with being manager, Patrick Vieira, said he feels sorry for Xhaka. He's actually said, I feel sorry for him, because he was the captain and he's going through a really difficult period and a really difficult time at Arsenal. I think we have to remind ourselves that he's achieved a lot since he's at Arsenal and he deserves a lot of respect. He deserves a lot of respect from a human being point of view, Patrick, and away from being scapegoated. I don't necessarily agree with achieved a lot. He's played a lot and he's played with commitment. I've never had to question if Xhaka wants to play for this club or not, apart from when he brought it into dispute with the captain stuff. But a lot of success is subjective, my guy. Maybe Vieira's comments are keeping on the fence because he's probably eyeing up this job in the future. But he carried on to say, when you're a player and you don't perform the way you expect, you get frustrated about yourself. And sometimes you say things or do things you regret. I know how good he is and he will come through this difficult period because he's a strong man. He's a good player. Fair enough, man. From a human point of view, I'd like to see Xhaka get through it. Arsenal have also been linked with Mertens, better yet, of Napoli. The 32-year-old is being watched by Juventus, Spurs, Arsenal and a couple other clubs because his contract is up at the end of the season. Would it make sense for Arsenal to buy him? Potentially not. He's 32, he's going to want a decent outlay in terms of his contract, probably his last contract. We've just spoken about the need for a rebuild. Is he going to necessarily improve our team to the level we want? No. So there's no point going for Mertens, despite the fact he's a decent player. And for me, he's really come into his own since. I swear he was a bit more of a winger for time, people. And it's like he converted into a striker at a period. And he's really taken his game up to another level, people, in my opinion. But moving forward, we've got Petit. Petit has had some stuff to say about Arsenal, people. Petit has gone on to say, I believe it's time for Unai Emery to leave Arsenal. The results are not good at all. I don't recognise this team anymore. I don't recognise this club anymore. You can always bet on Petit to say the realness, people, and say as it is. He said, people may laugh at me, but I wouldn't mind seeing a former player on the bench. Is there a former Arsenal great you can call? Like Thierry Henry or Patrick Vieira? Pick one. There is so many. You even have Freddie Ljungberg in the dugout already. I want to see passion, emotion, someone who, when he takes your hand, you can feel the electricity. I want someone who can bring that to the Arsenal dressing room because they need to wake up. Big up him, big up Petit for the realness. And we've got apparently 18-year-old Colorado Rapids midfielder Cole Bassett, who I've never seen in my life, is going to train with Arsenal's under-23s for a week in the near distant future. Probably a part of that is obviously the links between Colorado and Arsenal. I mean, we've seen Shea, is it Bert Shea or Break Shea or something like that, train at Arsenal before. We've seen this sort of thing before. We've got a good partnership, so if he is good enough to cut his teeth in Europe and Arsenal are able to bring him and he can either progress to the first team, I've never seen him play, or be sold for a profit or whatever, then that's good for us. Obviously, on the face of it, he'll probably spend a week, train with Arsenal's under-23s, might even play in a game, get to probably assess his level, get to see, obviously be with the coach and staff at Arsenal, get different tips on how he can improve and what he should improve. And ultimately, it'll be a good experience, man. I'm sure he plays for Colorado. I'm sure he's got ambitions to play in Europe. So he might see, okay, this midfielder, that midfielder, this is what I need to add into my game, really. So, yeah, he said, as most people know, this is my favourite club. I don't know which team it will be because of an international break. Hopefully, there will be a couple players missing with the first team and I can get with them. But I'm just excited to get over there and show up. When Arsenal came over here and played us, oh, I remember this guy. I don't remember him. I thought I remembered him off this picture, but I don't. But he said, when Arsenal came over here and played us, you could see there are little things that they do I just don't quite have yet. I'm eager to learn things from them. Picking up things from every player will improve my game. It's going to be a great learning experience. So big him up, people. Apparently, Man City will not stand in Arteta's way if Arsenal look for him to become new manager. But yeah, our current manager, Unai Emery, has been in Lyon, obviously as part of the Away for Elite Club Coaches segment. So yeah, man, it is what it is. It's testing time. It's testing times for Arsenal.